I got it figured out. The monster car has crossover steering and all heavy-duty tie rods, steering arms, two-wheel drive, square body steering box, drop Pitman arm, and I got it all to fit. Everything works, everything lined up really good. Show you over here. You can see I have about 3/4 of an inch between the spring and the tie rod end. Heavy duty tie rods comes across, same gap here on that spring over to the knuckle there. I gotta put the grease fittings in. Everything is just kind of snugged up right now. But the crossover, you can see I made a bend in it to get around the crank and the oil pan, crank pulley in the oil pan. I had to keep this as short as possible on this radius because when you turn the steering arm this way, it gets even closer to the crank pulley here. So I had to keep this really tight. Otherwise, a lot of people just do a straight bar down. This eBay kit came with that. Off-road has a pre-bent bar, which I think comes in different bends depending on your lift and whatever, but I made this one work. So yeah, it comes across and it goes about 3/4 of an inch above the spring over into the high steer arm, which worked out damn well perfect. I mean, the steering arm, I tried to get that as horizontal as possible. It's really close. But the pipe bender, I had a 12-ton pipe bender from Harbor Freight. I broke it bending this pipe. It's 1.5 inch quarter wall. It's really thick shit, and it literally broke the pipe bender bending it. So got it done. But just to show you guys, this was what I was most worried about here is the clearance. So now underneath the crank pulley, I got 3 inches of clearance. But what I ended up doing, and that's with the wheel straight, what I ended up doing was putting a bar between, how the hell could I show you that? Like that maybe? Between the crank pulley and the oil pan. So if the wheels are straight, I got able to hit the bump stops before it even comes close to even hitting anything. It worked out really, really well here. I might grind these little tabs off of the front of the oil pan. That's for wiring harness. I'm not doing that. So I might grind those off just a little bit because if this ever does hit the oil pan at all or the crank pulley at all, right here, it's just gonna break shit. We don't want to do that. But yeah, everything works out. And then if I turn, let me see if I can turn the wheel this way. Oh shit, hang on. Ugh. Ugh. All right, so that's locked all the way to the driver's side. See, I still got clearance, still got clearance, still got clearance. It's close down there. It's real close, but it is not touching. And I got a full throw on the steering arm, and I have plenty of clearance here. Not worried about that at all. And over here, everything looks good here. I'm actually gonna take this steering arm off because I'm not using the high steer. I'll go over that in a bit, but let me turn the wheel back to the passenger side. There, it's locked out to the passenger side. Still have plenty. Steering arm or Pitman arm is all the way over, and I still have good clearance here. The bend is right underneath the crank pulley, so I still have 3 inches of clearance there, which I'll hit the bump stops before that, and I have plenty of clearance there with the steering arm. So that worked out really, really good. Let me put the wheel straight again. Something like that. So the high steer, which is supposed to go from this back bolt here, or back hole here on the high arm over to that one. I can't run that on this because that is definitely way too close to the oil pan. You'll see here if I line it up, that's getting really, really close to the oil pan. So all the finagling I did, I can't use that, which I'm okay with, because if you think about it, these are levers, basically, right? The knuckle and the steering arm are levers. So it's actually easier to steer and easier on all the steering box and everything when you basically bring this pivot point out. The further out you go, the easier it'll be. So just that 2.5 inches between the factory knuckle where the tie rod goes and the steering arm, I think that's going to make a difference. That is going to help me more than hurt or overstress any of the steering stuff. So I'm okay with that. And like I said, it's 1.5 inches. Like, I'm not worried about this really at all. I'm really not. What else I do? Oh, the box. Let me get the light. All right. There's the new 2-wheel drive steering box. I put you can see that the bracing, I welded it around the outside here and the bottom. And then I got new grade 8s. I got to torque everything. For whatever reason, I had to trim the frame tie there to get that box in there. I don't know if this is a bigger box than what this originally came with. I know it's a different style because of the pitman arm. This is a fully spline pitman arm, and the 4-wheel drive had like the D-shaped one. But yeah, that works good. I'm super stoked, super happy with how everything turned out. I gotta adjust my bump stops. I made these plates here that go up into these progressive bump stops. I'm gonna set those at like 2.5 inches and test it out from there, but I think that'll be fine. And then I gotta torque everything and grease everything, and we're gonna be rolling. I can't wait. I forgot to go over this. So these are the eBay knuckles. I got the whole kit from, I forget the name of the seller, but there's pictures of it all over. And it comes with these no-name ball joints, which I'm like, whatever, I'll run them for now. And if they blow out after a while, I'll put some spicers in there. But the thing that I noticed is that it's pretty damn close. The threads on the lower ball joint to the axle is, I don't have it locked. It's close. It doesn't hit, but I'm pretty sure that's closer than what the factory one is. And then for the upper, where is it? Right there. I actually had to take the Zerk fitting out because it was hitting these chromoly axles. I greased it up and just took the Zerk fitting out. And I don't know. We're going to run it. But yeah, these are the chromoly Dana 44 front axles. The dimensions on the actual ears here on the knuckle, or I'm sorry, on the axle where the joint is, that's all the same as the factory stuff. But these inner shafts that actually come in here, the factory shaft decreases inside. It actually slenders down, and then it goes wider at the splines. And these axles are full thickness all the way through. So that'll be good. The other thing too is these knuckles on the back side, the factory knuckles have the adjusters with the locking nut, and these have the tabs here, so it basically hits the ear, and that's your steering bump. I'm gonna end up drilling and tapping the back ones on both of them, and space those out just a little bit to keep the banjo and all the brakes and all that. It clears. I clearanced everything and I adjusted it and it works, but I don't like that. So I'm gonna drill these out just a little bit and throw a bolt in there with a locking nut and just space it out. You know, probably just the thickness of the head of the bolt.